Alright, we're fucking live. So it started to get down to the wire, folks. 3 precincts in Atlanta last night either quit or called in sick. If you get on the live scanners, yeah, the scanners are pretty much silent. There's a couple calls going out, but pretty much the EMS has reserved it for traffic accidents, heart attacks, and elderly emergency calls. Things like armed robbery and stuff like that are going unfettered. So what's going on is these police, with the arrest of that police officer that shot that man in the Wendy's parking lot, and they charged him with murder. So he was just doing his job, you know. Whether you like it or not, I just got in a heated argument with my mom, who's a bleeding heart Democrat, and it's really difficult living in this house with a 2-party, almost a 3-party system, because my son is basically a libertarian, and my mom is a Democrat, an old school Democrat. She's not completely liberal, but and I'm a conservative. I used to be an old school Democrat when I was younger, during the good old days, and that all changed after 9/11. But so what's going on is these police officers have felt like they aren't being represented, and they're not going to get represented if they try to enforce the law like they should be able to. And they see the reform coming down the tubes, and so far they banned chokeholds and stuff like that. One of the #1 restraining moves that the police officers have with an armed assailant or a violent resisting person. So what's going to happen is, systematically throughout the country in these major cities where the protests and riots are happening, these police officers will probably follow suit and start resigning in mass. And like I said, around July 5th, the prenuptial eclipse, I see something major happening around that date, which is only a few weeks away. And all kinds of crazy stuff probably happened then. It's a full moon prenuptial eclipse where the moon turns blood red. So if Trump doesn't call the military or the National Guard in, or the governors don't call the National Guard in to replace these police that I see in every major city probably resigning due to the fact that they're losing representation, legal representation to do their jobs properly. And if it keeps going the way it's going, they'll lose the right to use lethal force in an event. And if that happens, you can guarantee every single police officer in the United States would resign. So in the event that what I predict is going to happen with this Atlanta thing, other big cities, especially in the Democratic controlled cities, the police are going to resign. That's going to trigger the UN to come in if Trump doesn't do anything. And we're all suspecting that Trump isn't going to do anything because I've suspected that he's been compromised and he's being used as a puppet. And despite his speeches pre-election in 2016, all his speeches, don't mean shit. After you get into office, the deep state sits you down and says, look, you're working for us now. You got to play by this playbook. You can control your people the way you want to control them, but you're still going to do the things we want you to do. And things are going to work out this way. And that's how I've seen things happen with a lot of stuff. So far, he's kept us out of war. He's fixed taxes, but I believe it's just putting off a war. You know, he's kind of putting off these wars. And so far, over the past 36 hours, we've had to run off Russian strategic bombers flying over Canadian and United States airspace. And they had their strategic command aircraft with them, which means they were communicating with ground forces. So apparently there's sleeper cells, Russian sleeper cells in the United States, agent provocateurs, probably working with the CIA with this Chaz, with this whole Chaz thing that's spreading like wildfire. So after the police resign, the UN blue helmets are going to come in. They've already got ads up looking for people that are experienced in the military to come in with their troops and de-escalate our military, disarm our military bases and police forces and militias and stuff like that. Folks, we're going to lose our First and Second Amendment rights. We're going to lose our Constitution. We're going to lose our country if folks like those 700 bikers in Ohio don't stand up to this and take action right now. We take authority into our own hands. If the police resign in your city, organize with the local militia and get a ham radio immediately. You could get a ham radio sent to you. You order one, hamradio.com and some other places. I'll leave links in the description of this video. I realized I didn't leave links to my video last night. I went to sleep before it downloaded. So as I'm fixing this video, as this video uploads, I'll be putting links to last night's video and a cover photo. So I was busy this morning. I had to take my truck in to get the compressor looked at and fixed, and drop a lawnmower off to get fixed. And so I didn't get my early morning video in. Weather-wise and earthquake-wise and space weather-wise, space weather looks all quiet. The earthquakes, there was a 7.2 north of New Zealand, which means that pressure might be coming into the main island, and they might see a significantly large earthquake around either higher or lower magnitude than the 7, or maybe around the same magnitude. But I guarantee you they'll get a magnitude 5, probably somewhere around the Catcher's Mitt on the North Island, and that pressure will move probably south on down as the pressure moves. I'm kind of waiting to hear from Dutch Sense on that, see what he has to say about it. But at 7.5, that's the largest earthquake we've had in quite some time globally. And it's something to watch. If you have friends in New Zealand, check with them, make sure they're all right, and let them know that they keep an eye on Dutch Sense channel for the latest updates, and New Zealand earthquake monitoring sites on Facebook. My friend Fiona runs one or two of them, and she's down there in New Zealand, and I'm going to check with her here today and see how she's doing. But it's getting to be morning time, almost morning time over there right now. It's what time is it? It's around 10 or 11 o'clock this morning, Central Standard Time in the Ozarks. But so my advice to you is get a ham radio as soon as possible, in case we have to bug out of these major cities if the blue helmets do come in. If the police resign in your area, do consider bugging out to a rural area. You know, sell your house or whatever, or just, you might have to abandon it, because once the police resign and there's no law and order established, these people are going to run amok. Every criminal, and you know, they've released criminals due to the COVID. So there's a lot of criminals out there with no jobs, and there's a lot of people out of work right now that are going to resort to thievery and plundering resources. So just be aware of that. Get a ham radio. Stay in contact with your local militia, and as always, stay safe. Eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everyone. Peace out, motherfuckers. Mr. Mission Control's out of here.